My name is Craig Carney. I joined the forces, regular force, January 1994.
What trade and element were you? And you can.
Yeah. I started out in infantry, 1 PBCLI, and from 1994 till 2005. Then I switched out to intelligence. So my first deployment was actually Cyprus in the reserves, and that was with Tour CHA in '93. They're closing out the tour, and I was a reservist. And that's when, after the tour, I said, "Is this what the Army is like? Sign me up!" Right? And there was a big attrition from the '92 tour in Croatia because of a lot of the bad stuff that happened there, and there was a massive turnover. So they were sucking up a lot of reservists, and that's what I did. I jumped into CT'd into regs, and went right out to on PBCLI. Yeah.
And other deployments?
And so right away went to Croatia, right off the bat in that April, and then continued on to Bosnia. Then we did a stint out in Africa there in Uganda in '96, only for a couple of months, and then Kosovo, and then Afghanistan twice. Yeah.
What made you want to join the Canadian Armed Forces?
To be honest with you, I didn't get accepted to college, and what else do I do? And after Cyprus, I was like, man, teamwork. I had the best friends were all going. I got sucked into the fervor, right? Croatia was going on. I wanted to play a role, So yeah, it was right place, right time, and right time of my life. I was 20, 21. Perfect time for a guy like me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, nothing holding me down. Nothing. I was healthy, fit. So yeah, that's exactly why I joined. All my friends all of us. There was 8 of us at CT together. So we all kind of joined together. Yeah, it was good.
So what's been the highlight of your career?
I was actually working. There are several spots throughout my career. In the infantry, the highlight of my career was all the deployments. And working with working in the platoon. There were hard days, but man, I look back now and those were the best days. Recce course, that was pioneer course. All the courses were phenomenal. And again, it's a teamwork. That being part of the team. So that was the infantry. Moving into intelligence, it was working SOF, being deployed with SOF and supporting their intelligence operations. Fantastic. I mean, that's a whole different level of play, and really enjoyed it. And that, I think, is the level of professionalism that was expected and that you were part of. Was absolutely amazing, and to this day forward, absolutely the top of my list because of the results that we were able to achieve, for sure.
Yeah, I felt the same teaching. We just had that crew that gelled, and everybody was here.
Everyone's hitting the high notes, man.
Yeah.
Right? And everyone's doing the high jump, and it's fantastic when everyone's working together like that.
Yeah,
you can't stop it. And when we went to, when you see the social workers on decompression, I mean, the social workers are like, "Are you guys for real?" Like, everyone's laughing and joking, and we'd go back to theater again to do the same roto. Yeah. It was the best roto I'd ever experienced, for sure.
When did you leave the forces, and why did you leave the forces?
I left in 2016. I was posted to the intelligence school for 3 years in IR, and I was a warrant officer, and my wife and I were struggling as a couple doing the IR thing back and forth. And I went to the warrants course there, and I came to the realization I didn't want to go any further. I was quite sad, actually. I was saddened by the fact that I didn't want to. I hit the wall. I hit the point where I was done, and I needed to look for something else. So and the school was the hardest job I've ever done in my life. Infantry school, piece of cake. The intelligence school, it was a disaster zone. Not that it was a disaster zone. It was very challenging and very difficult to deal with when undermanned, understaffed, and wasn't staffed in a way that could run it effectively. So I was bearing the brunt of it, and I couldn't. For the first time in my life, out of all the years in the infantry and tours, I had to take stress leave. Yeah. I had to take 2 days like mental health leave because I was done. You know, unbelievable. Yeah. But I was getting to the point where I didn't realize I was having this. Those were just I had a whole bunch of issues, underlying issues that I wasn't addressing, and they were coming out, they're creeping out, bleeding out, right? So because when your cup's full, everything started coming out, yep. But you don't even realize it because that was your norm for so long that you suppressed everything, right? And then when additional stresses add on, it came to the point where things were spilling over.
Yep. Yeah. It's funny you say that because for me, it's the same becoming an image tech.
Yeah.
That's when everything, because how hard is this job?
Right? Exactly.
and why, like,
why
man,
am I so angry?
I can go do all this stuff, and, you know, and I want to go do all that stuff. Yeah, it's, I hear you, man. Yeah. I hear you.
So, yeah, it came to a head, and I needed to change. Yeah.
Sure. On the whole, how do you feel about your service in the Canadian Armed Forces?
I owe my life to the Canadian Forces, and you know, it's funny, I hear terrible stories where members have had bad experiences, and for example VAC is not treating them properly or they were released terribly. I had the exact opposite experience. I didn't realize, so when I came back from Kosovo, that's when I realized something was wrong with me. And it's funny because that wasn't a hard tour. I mean, yeah, sure, there was mass graves and whatever, but it wasn't really a hard tour. But there was one event that I really struggled with, and I was just a little boy who was homeless, and you know, it really hit me hard. And it's funny, all the previous tours, 5 tours before that, three tours before that, didn't affect you. You're water off duck's back, right? For some reason, that one really affected me, and you know, that's the first time I realized there was something wrong with boozing, you know, the taking chances, risks that you know, just doing crazy stuff, and it was out of control. I was out of control. Didn't care about anything. Didn't care if I died. Whatever, right? So realized there was something wrong with me. Went to seek help from the doctor, and they're like, "Oh, you got PTSD." I'm like, "What the fuck? No, you know, I don't have nothing like that. I'm angry all the time, and I'm boozing. I'm okay. Just fix me. Just tell me what's wrong with me. I'm good to go." So yeah, I absolutely wouldn't let them go that way, and they didn't. They said, "Okay, we'll just say you have a general anxiety disorder." I'm like, "All right, sure, whatever. Just I'll take the pills," and you know, it settled me down, and I was fine. But I never really dealt with the issue, right? And then years later, then Afghanistan came. The first tour was really rough. But the great thing was they were taking mental health more seriously in 2008. So 2 years after we really started ramping into war, right? So the care was there, but it still wasn't really accepted at the operational level because there's a job to do, and you know, job mission before self, man. That's the way it works, right? So you just suppress, and then so I held all this in as a sergeant at the time, and later as a warrant officer. I'd always support mental health, but I wouldn't let them know that I had an issue, right? It became my new norm, being angry all the time, you know, reacting inappropriately, again, alcoholism and bad decision making became my new norm. And I just worked professionally, but on the on the off duty, I was kind of a mess, you know. So it wasn't until the day I signed my release papers, I fell apart. As soon as I took the uniform off, I fell apart. I let everything go. And the release lady's like, I think you need to see somebody. I'm like, oh no. Yeah, I was an absolute disaster zone because I didn't realize I was leaving the family until that day. I knew I had to leave the family, but I realized how bad of a shape I was in when I signed those release papers. But the beautiful thing is, VAC took care of me. They took me in, and they supported me. They gave me all the support I needed to bridge into my new life. You know, so overall experience was very positive in the fact that they in the beginning not so much, but near the end they were able to help. They've been able to help guide me through transition. So, yeah.
Okay. Did you? So you say that in the beginning it was rough. So getting into the system was rough.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Well,
and
yeah,
I think that's where a lot of us struggle, because it's getting that ball rolling.
And I didn't start through battle school, right? So
yeah,
I was abused. I was physically abused. I was mentally abused. I was verbally abused. But that's part of the game, right? I just whatever, put my helmet on, take the abuse. Yeah. You know, I was fit. I showed up on time, and I did my job. Like, what more do you want from me? You know what I mean? So. But the relationships you form through your career are you know, I'm still, all the friends that I joined with, we all kind of moved to Edmonton, or to Ottawa here. So I'm still with the fellows I did my component transfer. We all moved here to Ottawa through weird, you know, it wasn't intentional. It was just, my friend was a signals guy, and he got posted here. My other friend was a LCSS tech, and he got posted here, and then I got posted here, and hey, we're all friends again. You know, even though we've been spread apart for the last 10 years, you know. It's just such a small army that we bounce in and out, and it's great. I love it.
It's like you never spent any time apart.
Absolutely. You know, I have friends out in Edmonton, and when I go to Edmonton, it's just like we left the trench, you know, from the last exercise 3 weeks ago. You know, that's great.